Welcome back to day 10, reviewing the Women's 2020 Australian Open. In this video I'm going to be reviewing the two quarterfinals that took place last night. Simona Halep against Anett Kontaveit and Garbina Muguruza against Pavlyuchenkova of Russia. First off, looking at Simona Halep against Kontaveit. Halep's came into this match without dropping a set so far this tournament. She's looked pretty invincible. Just nobody's even been able to get close to her. Lise Mertens to give her a good battle in the last round, but Halep came out on top of that one due to her defence, the counter punching, her first serves, and her ability to also hit winners, which is providing every opponent with an impossible task almost. Kontaveit came to this match in great form. She beats Swiatek, the young Pole, in the last round, round of 16. Battled hard and obviously spent a lot more time out in court than Halep, but that suits some players and hinders others. So I was anticipating Halep winning this one. She obviously has that Grand Slam experience that Kontaveit doesn't have, and I thought Kontaveit it had an easier run through the tournament than Halep, which I saw Halep winning this one straight set, which was what happened. From an early stage, I think it was clear to see that Halep was just a level above of Kontaveit in every aspect of the game. There isn't a whole deal you can make this match really. It was just a case of Halep just playing as she has been, just looking invincible. I think it's going to take the performance of a lifetime from somebody to stop her. She serves 78% of her serves, which is way up on Halep's average. Hitting 5 aces, she's hitting winners from all angles and forehand and backhand. Her drop shot looks fantastic, and obviously she's got that defence to fall back on, the best defence in the sport, especially on the women's side. She's so quick around the court, so efficient. She gets to every single ball that the opponent can hit at her. Counter punching's fantastic. Kontaveit. If she did try and make an effort to come into the net, then Halep was just producing passing shots that were unstoppable. In the first set, Kontaveit did stick with Halep a couple of times in a couple of games early on, when Halep really turned it on, really started to tighten the ball, find her range, find the baseline, the regular basis, and she was forcing errors out of Kontaveit. Kontaveit could only return by hitting the ball short, and then Halep's possessing huge power as well. As I say, with how well she's timing the ball, she's just playing exceptional. There's not a vulnerability in the game. She's just playing the most incredible tournament that I've seen in a long time. From a woman's point of view, she's timing the ball exceptionally well. She's playing well in every single match. She's not dropping a set. She's not giving any break points. She's taking break point opportunities, and she's just coping with all the pressure and all the hype surrounding her so well. She just seems to be getting better and better as the tournament progresses, which is great signs for her moving on to the semi-final. As I say, Kontaveit, I haven't seen a great deal of this tournament, but from the highlights I've seen, she's been playing with great confidence, hitting a lot of winners, good solid all-round game, and I'm sure she can progress on to have a solid enough 2020. Moving on to the second semi-final, this one was more competitive. This was a very close match. It really could have went either way. I did tip up Muguruza pre-match just because of a heavier serve, heavier ground strokes, and that Grand Slam winning experience plays a big part for me in predictions. I do feel it's very underrated until you've been there and done it. Obviously these top players are still do feeling the nerves, but there's coping mechanisms and there's certain go-to shots that these players do, and tactics that they use in these situations, and Muguruza done this very well, I think, to close out two very close sets. Muguruza has had a very tough couple of years. She won a couple of Grand Slams, and everyone was wondering when she was going to become world number one and really dominate the women's game for a number of years. How many Grand Slams could she win? That wasn't to be the case, unfortunately. She struggled to really cope with that pressure, and she had a number of coaches throughout this time change up her game style a lot, and never really found any real form or confidence in any Grand Slam or any real tournament, to be honest. Which is a shame to see. I'm pleased that she is back and playing like she is. It's definitely the Muguruza of old. There's been no flukes of performances this week. She's beat Svitolina comfortably, won last night in straight sets, so she moves on to set up that match against HALEP, which will be an absolute epic. I think it's going to be so tough to call, but I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Pavlyuchenkova, what a tournament she's had. She wasn't a player that I had seen a lot of, to be honest, in this tournament before this tournament, but I watched a match against Pliskova. I thought she was outstanding in that one. It was a good matchup for her stylistically. We know how attacking Pliskova is, and that was just a pure fight. It was just down to who struck the ball better in the day, who timed the ball better, and who found more lines. And thankfully for Pavlyuchenkova, it was her on the day. She out-hit Pliskova, she held the nerve, took her opportunities, and she knocked out a player that was one of the tournament favourites, which will give the Russian huge confidence. And I think you could see that confidence that she took from that when facing Angelique Kerber. Again, Kerber, some win. We all know the experience that Kerber's got and the form she's got over the years on hard courts. These slow courts definitely suiting Kerber's game style more than Pavlyuchenkova's. We know Kerber's very patient. She's got a great defence. She's a great mover around the court. But Pavlyuchenkova toppled her. Despite losing the first set in the tie break, she was right up against it. But as the match went on, Pavlyuchenkova really bullied Kerber, moved around the court, didn't let her settle. And she just timed the ball better and better, hitting, I think it was over 70 winners in that match, which is a brilliant amount. You don't often see that in a 3-set game match, so it just shows you how well Pavlyuchenkova has been striking the ball this week. But it was always going to be an uphill task, I felt, against Muguruza when you come against someone with her power, who's playing so well and so much confidence and serving like she does. That was the difference in the end. I just thought Muguruza won more points in serve. She served more races. She got more cheap points on her serve than Pavlyuchenkova did, and that just allowed Muguruza to put a little bit more pressure on Pavlyuchenkova and just eke out some more errors. But it was two very, very close sets. I mean, you could argue Pavlyuchenkova deserved to win one of them sets and it would have been a thriller third, but I think Muguruza's, as I say, serve and ability to hit winners on either side and experience saw her through to a straight sets win. So a quick look ahead to that semi-final now. We've got two incredible semi-finals. Obviously Barty against Kennan is up tomorrow. You've got the home favourite, probably the out-route favourite for the tournament now, Barty, up against the fighter Sophia Kennan, the youngster with a great attitude and great all-round game. And obviously the big underdog in that one, but she'll not be fazed by Barty. The way Kennan's played and fought back this week from perilous situations, and should be confident of beating anybody in the world. Barty's obviously got huge pressure on her back going into that match. She definitely flourished under the pressure of the day. I think it improved performance. It really carried her through that win against Kvitova. Give it great momentum in that match, and particularly in the second set, Barty let her arms go and she was producing winner after winner, much to the amazement of the crowd. On the second semi-final, Kvitova, HALEP against Muguruza. I think this is going to be one of the matches of the tournament, if not the match of the tournament. It could quite easily be the final. I think these two probably played the best tennis so far this year on the women's side of the draw. I do think HALEP enters a slight favourite, just because of how little of errors she makes, and her defence gives her that stability from the back of the court. We know how well she fights and how she returns every single ball. I think, although Muguruza is striking the ball so well and she has got them such heavy ground strokes, I just don't see anybody blowing HALEP off the court at the minute. She seems to be just dominating players and winning with ease, really. I think this match will be a lot tougher. Undoubtedly be HALEP's toughest match of the tournament so far. I can imagine it going 3 sets. But with HALEP, it's not just a defence this week, it's a counter punch and it's a net play. She's hitting winners herself, she's serving so well, such a high first serve percentage. And if she can continue to do that, then she is one of the favourites for the title. So yeah, 2 incredible women's semi-finals coming up, 2 incredible men's semi-finals coming up. We'll be previewing them all and reviewing them all. There'll be plenty of long videos coming, because I do like to talk about the matches in detail and the players' tactics in detail. But thanks again for watching. Thanks if you've viewed any videos this week. I hope you've enjoyed them and enjoyed the tennis. So I'll be back later on tonight with a preview of Barty against Kennan and a preview again of Djokovic and Federer. Thanks again, and I'll see you later. Thanks, bye.